Kyle Klingman with Track Wrestling. We are going to New Jersey. Head wrestling coach at Delbarton High School, Bryan Stoll. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Well, you got to tell us how we're doing because wrestling is in a quagmire right now.
Yeah, New Jersey was pretty proactive in pushing our state tournament or our season back um, to March 1, which I think was the right move because had we started in December like they had planned, if you see what's going on in PA now, they just stalled their season. They got to do 3 weeks without practicing, and that was one of my worst case scenarios, that we'd actually start up and then they would stop us. So I was pretty happy that they pushed us back to March because it gives us a chance, I think. And in all my communications with our state association, they're still they're still planning on trying to have an individual state tournament, and that's something that everybody in New Jersey is really adamant about. We're one of the few one class states in the country, so our state tournament is a really big deal for us. I'm sure it is for everybody, but it's something that we cherish, and we are very adamant as a coaches association. I think the NJSIA, our state governing body, is pretty adamant that they want to try to make that happen for us. It's going to be tough, and logistically it's going to be really difficult in terms of finding host locations and, all those down the road things, will have to work themselves out. But just to hear them say that they really want to have a individual postseason is really encouraging for me right now.
Explain the landscape of New Jersey. You have Southern Jersey, Northern Jersey, and you talk about the one class system, and then you got a pretty prominent program, Blair Academy, that's in the prep schools.
Yeah.
How do you filter that out and what's real and what isn't in New Jersey?
I mean, wrestling's wrestling, right? Once you put your foot on the line, doesn't matter who you're wrestling. But it's certainly, the South Jersey and the North Jersey thing. I think North Jersey's got a lot more wrestling clubs than South Jersey does. So it's a different kind of development system. They have a lot more public schools that are really successful down there, where in the North, I think it's, there's a lot of private schools that are more successful. And then obviously there's Blair Academy, who, they are a national program, but they certainly draw, probably half their kids are from the state of New Jersey. So, we like to compete against all of them: public schools, private schools, Blair. Obviously Wyoming Seminary, they end up getting some Jersey guys, McDonough School in Maryland, that's where Miles Martin went. So they get some Jersey guys down there. So we kind of spread ourselves everywhere. So, everybody, if you're involved in wrestling nationally, you usually come across somebody from New Jersey. That's for sure.
Let's talk about two of those people. Bruce Baumgartner and Jordan Burroughs are from New Jersey. Are people aware of that? Of course, I think Jordan Burroughs a little bit more so, but Bruce Baumgartner is from there too. But does that elevate the state?
Yeah, well, it's funny when you talk about Bruce Baumgartner, he never won a state tournament in New Jersey. And you talk about Jordan Burroughs, and he won a pretty controversial one in the finals. And we're obviously really proud of our 3 and 4 time state champs, but we're just as proud of the fact that a guy like Bruce Baumgartner, a guy like Jordan Burroughs, legends in our sport, 2 of the best wrestlers. You throw John Smith in there, probably the 3 best all time, and 2 of them are from New Jersey. They had to work really hard to be successful in New Jersey. So it's something we're proud of for sure.
How about what happened at Rutgers? 2 NCAA champions, homegrown kids. Did that kind of resonate with New Jersey high school wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, it's as I said, we take our wrestling really serious, and obviously we take a lot of pride. And Scott Godale is a good friend of mine, and to see him and Leo and Pollard and those guys have so much success, and Donnie to have so much success there and finally get over the hump and get 2 NCAA champs. I mean, we take a lot of pride in that. And I think, and then obviously you also have the Princeton coaching staff, who are all New Jersey guys too, or the three coaches, and then Nate obviously is I think he originally is from Illinois or Indiana, but Sean Gray and Chris Ayers and Joe Dubuque are all Jersey guys too. So and you know, Ryder's got a mix of some PA and Jersey guys too. So we got a lot of pride in our programs for sure, and I think New Jersey kind of gets behind all these guys.
I mean, you can't forget Frank Molinaro who's out at ASU.
Yep. You know, the list is certainly long of guys that have been really successful at New Jersey. You know, Steve Mocco was an Olympian too. And, you know, with Zach Esposito, 4-time All-American national champ from Oklahoma State. So a lot of elite guys for sure.
What's your coaching philosophy? How are you getting it done there at Delbarton?
I don't know. You know, we work really hard and you know, our guys are all year-round wrestlers. You know, we have rules in New Jersey where we can't really coach the guys in the fall and the spring. So it's just important to keep tabs on them and make sure that they're doing the right things. You know, all our guys train at different clubs, whether it's, you know, Edge and Ernie Monaco and Jeff Buxton and Corey Cooperman. So, you know, I kind of, you know, keep tabs on them too, with the guys who are training there, making sure they're doing the right things. And, you know, I'm in here in the building, so I'm a school teacher. So I kind of keep track of their academics. Our school's pretty tough academics school. So it's a full-time job on that end too, as well. So these kids are certainly going to be really prepared when they get to college, because they, you know, they've gone through the rigors of a really tough school.
I read that the Bergen Duel sold out in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have a very big gym here. And that was I think it was a historic match. It was the first time. So we had wrestled them they probably knocked us out of the States every year, or 1 or 2 years, maybe somebody else. But for 7 years or 8 years straight, I guess, 2011, we had beaten them in the sectional finals. And then, you know, every year we kind of got closer and closer and closer. And then, you know, this year it just kind of had that feeling. I think people kind of knew that, you know, we had a team that could definitely compete with them. And we had before, but this one just felt, you know, leading up to it, that it was going to be that kind of match. And you know, the media got behind it, obviously. And it was one of those special, you know, once in a lifetime type of events for me. It was, you know, in our home gym, and, you know, we had a bunch of college coaches there, and it was just, it ended up being a really fun night, obviously, for us. And then we got, you know, we still, that was only our sectional semifinal. So we had to win our sectional final, and then our state final. And then we go into our individual postseason, and our kids just kept rolling. I mean, I think we had 9 guys placed in the state tournament last year. I think it was 8 of them placed in the top 5, which is, you know, as good of an accomplishment as I could ever remember as a team for our school and maybe anybody in New Jersey.
When you think about just how much fun you had there with that meet and selling out in 2 minutes, and just how important dual meets can be, why don't we put more premium on dual meets?
Yeah, well, so in New Jersey we do completely. I mean, we don't even keep a team score in our individual state tournament. So our dual meets, that's when we have a state champion in wrestling, it's only based on dual meets in New Jersey. And then when that ends, then it's all about, you know, the individuals. So in New Jersey we do, and it definitely is picked up. I know that, you know, obviously the quad meets and some of those other events have kind of detracted from the dual meets. I think this year, you know, obviously with dual meets being the only thing during the regular season that we're going to have, that we're going to see a little bit more of a premium on dual meets. Hopefully we can have fans there. But that's a whole nother issue that we're going to be dealing with. But, you know, I think New Jersey kind of has it right in the way that we do it, with having our dual meet state tournament as, you know, how we decide who the best team is. And then we move on to the individual postseason, and the focus there is, you know, obviously what the name on the front of your singlet matters a lot, but at the end of the day, the kids are wrestling for themselves at that point.
What have you done during the quarantine? How have you stayed sharp?
You know, watch a lot of videos, talk a lot of wrestling, you know, kind of, you know, staying involved, and, you know, keeping my mind on it, and sometimes having to take my mind off of it, because it drives you crazy when you start to think about whether or not things are going to actually happen. And say most of my friends are wrestling people, so we tend to talk about it too much sometimes. So it was unique to be away from wrestling for so long, and it's exciting to look forward to something coming up now.
Looking forward to summer. Are you guys going to wrestle outdoors in the spring?
Yeah, so we got a match scheduled with Bergen Catholic outdoors in the spring, April 10th. Hopefully it's the weather is good for us. I mean, New Jersey springs can be wet. I think April is usually, we're looking at 50s or 60s, which is certainly, we can definitely do that. And it was nice to put that match on the schedule, for nothing else, and to make it real, that the season is coming and it's going to be here, and that's going to happen. And it's going to be an outdoor event, and it's something that we can work towards. I think the kids got really excited. I know Coach Bell at Bergen Catholic was really excited to do it, and we got a lot of momentum. We got a lot of press, for it, which I think is really exciting.
What's your contingency plan if it rains?
We'll probably end up in the gym, I would guess. I mean, we could maybe work on some tennis shoes. We could, move it to Sunday too. We scheduled it on a Saturday, so we'll work on that between now and then. It's we wanted to get it on the schedule, give the guys something to look forward to, and between now and then, I'm sure we'll have plenty of contingency plans if we get some precipitation.
Do you get your athletes asking you a lot of questions about what's going to happen and what's next?
Yeah, I've been pretty good about communicating with them. It's funny. It's not so much the athletes as it is the parents and the fans. These kids are a resilient bunch, and they understand the situation, and they've continued to work and plow through, all the uncertainty. And, I'm not concerned about any of them, because I think that all of them have their minds in the right place. It's, it's really tough for parents, and they matter, and the fans obviously matter too. I mean, they're the people that make this sport what it is. And, it's been the uncertainty has been really tough, certainly for the parents. I think more so than the kids.
Bryan, when you get into your vehicle, whatever you drive, I don't know what you drive, but when you get in, what kind of music are you listening to?
Oh, geez, I don't know. If I'm going to a concert, I like Pearl Jam. I like Deftones. I like hip hop. I like a little bit of everything. Not country, really. I mean, I'll listen to country. Like Scott Goodale and my buddy Mike DiPiano and Frank DiPiano. They love the country music. So whenever I'm hanging out with those guys, I'm forced to listen to it. I don't sing along too much. Maybe I know the chorus. That's about it. But, Pearl Jam for sure. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, I'm from the 90s. I'm a grunge guy.
You got a go-to song from Pearl Jam?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Black was always one of my favorites. It's kind of slow, but, even Flow to get me fired up for sure. I mean, that whole album, 10 was probably the one that really got me into music when I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, tell me about that green wave jersey behind you there.
Oh, so that's actually that is our former athletic director who passed away. He hired me, and he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He probably died 3 or 4 years after he hired me all those years back. But when he hired me, it was we had some success before. We had Mike Gray was going into his senior year the year I got hired. So he was a 3-time state champ, and I stepped into the role to have to be his coach to be a 4-time state champ. Sounds like it's pretty exciting, but it was stressful as hell for me. But, Bryan wanted to build a program rather than a bunch of individuals. So he's something that a guy that I always looked up to, and we miss him, and we talk about him every day around here.